Hey, Brunch with Brian time. And today I was going to talk about virtual investing. And today I've got the Weather Channel on behind me because look at what's going on out there. It's pure lucky timing. I don't know if this is actually the Weather Channel. I mean, it is the Weather Channel, but you can see there's all, what is going on back there? I probably shouldn't have taken that chance. But guys, I don't have control of the Weather Channel back there. My whole point, I didn't know it was going to go to commercials. My whole point was that look at all the crazy weather happening. Oh, this isn't even the stuff that's all around the country, like up in the colder parts of the country. Now, where we used to live, like that, okay, up in the really winter storms. See, now that's where I used to live. I used to live right there in Minnesota. I'm becoming a weatherman today. I don't even know if you guys can see that. But what is the solution for a market that goes cold in the wintertime? Virtual investing. So I want you guys thinking about virtual investing. I want you thinking about, especially if you live in a northern state. Now, a lot of times, don't be deceived by winter conditions and think that real estate is grinding to a halt. There's a lot of real estate that goes on in the winter time. People still have to move, people still have to sell. So even if you are living in a state where you have some conditions like that are featured on the Weather Channel with lots of snow and all that, I want you to focus on being able to do deals anywhere. Now, obviously, you guys know that we are in, I'm going to change this, just one second. You guys know that we are in Phoenix, the Phoenix area. So in the Phoenix area, it's very nice here, and we can work year round, and we play pickleball every day, and we don't have winter conditions. So we don't have snow on top of everything that slows things down. But I want everyone to be doing this anyway, whether you live in, regardless of where you live. Especially another thing is if you live in a more expensive city. So we live in Phoenix, right? So Phoenix is pretty expensive. I can't, it's pretty hard to find a $50,000 house here. We just recently bought a $50,000 house in Michigan, though, that we have like a $750 a month positive cash flow on one house. And it's a $50,000 house. It's insane. It's renting for like $1,200 a month, and our payment is like 400 something. So it's pretty cool when you can find properties like that. Now, I wouldn't be working the Detroit market right now because it's brutal there. I mean, well, not always. And that's the other deceiving thing. I lived in Minnesota. Minnesota is about as tough as it gets. And there's people out there buying and selling and walking around in the wintertime. It's not like it's, the Antarctic. It's really, I mean, if it's 20 degrees out and not too windy, sometimes the sun comes out. I mean, it's pretty nice. I don't even mind it. You don't even need a winter jacket all the time, even in Minnesota, even in the winter. So, a lot of stuff happens. Don't think everything shuts down. Now, obviously, if there's a blizzard currently going on, you're not going to go look at a lot of properties. But I want you to, that's when you're on the phone. See, this is a phone business. So you can be working on the phone in any market, anywhere. So you could be calling sellers in Baton Rouge. Okay, now I think it's also some weather down there now. So you got to look at where the weather is when you start doing virtual investing. But, everybody, if you live on one of the coasts and the houses around you are pretty expensive, you should probably have a farm area, maybe around the middle of the country. Now we have properties in Kentucky and Indiana and Minnesota. And that's in our heartland kind of properties mainly. And so I want you guys to, if you know anybody, I always tell people if they have boots on the ground already in some city where the property values are pretty reasonable, pretty much anything in the heartland there, and you get some really good spreads. Now that's the other thing I want you to focus when you're looking for virtual investing. There's a couple things I want you to look for. I want you to use a couple of resources that are free to check out different areas. So first I want you to go, Zillow is an easy, free tool that a lot of you, hopefully everybody's using Zillow. Zillow's great, and there's just nothing else like it. They got all the pictures, everybody's using it, so everything's on it, all the realtors use it. So Zillow is where it's at, and you can check out cities anywhere in the country. So go find a city, and it would be great if you knew somebody there who you wanted to work with, but if you don't have somebody there, a lot of times a good realtor, if you find the right kind of realtor, not some super busy, big wheeler dealer realtor, but sort of a, a little bit hungrier realtor who hasn't done a million deals, who would be willing to work with you and not get paid until you get paid. So there's ways to develop boots on the ground. My favorite way is finding realtors, but there's also, you can, use people, you can find people to do calls and that and work it that way as well. So, but initially, I just want you to do a little bit of hunting around, maybe over Christmas here when you have a little bit of time. Just pop on Zillow and check out some different cities and see, start thinking about where you could own some property and look for the 1% rule. We call this the 1% rule. It's easy to check out the Zestimate and then go check out the rental Zestimate. So if the Zestimate, now in between the ranges of about, here's how I estimate rents, okay? So in between the range of about 80,000 and about 150, I want the 1% rule to apply. And that would mean that the property rent equals 1% or more of the value. So if I'm buying a house for 150, what's 1% of that? It's $1,500. So I better get $1,500 a month rent on a $150,000 house. That pretty much ensures that you should get decent cash flow, unless the property taxes or insurance are really high for some reason, which most areas they're not. But check that out. If it's in a floodplain or hurricane zone or something like that, you might have some high insurance, or you might have, because of the state or whatever, you might have some high property taxes. So check out those two things. But if this 1%, generally that's a good kind of rule of thumb to see if an area is going to cash flow. So if you check out some area and there's like, okay, so we have some property in Indiana, but there's other cities in Indiana where you go check it out and you look up a $75,000 property and it's renting for $600 a month. That doesn't work. Those numbers aren't going to work. It's got to be, remember, $75,000 property, at least $750 a month, if not more. Now, actually, I have another little gauge for properties between 50 and 80. I really want to see between, if you can find an area where the houses are livable and nice, it's not a war zone, there's decent families who want to live there, and they're still between 50 and 80, and yes, this exists. If you don't think it does, it does. We buy properties like this all the time. So on those, I want you to shoot for 1.5%. So rent equals 1.5% of the value or more, 50 to 80. So really, if it's an $80,000 house, that's right on the edge of, I'd really like that to be 1.5%. So that'd be a $1,200 a month rental for $80,000. If you can find something like that, you're doing great. Like I said, we just bought this one for 50 and we're getting $1,200 a month. So depending on that, so that's like it's over 2% return. So start thinking about virtual investing, especially if you're under a blanket of snow right now and you got some time on your hands. Go on Zillow and start checking out other cities and start to think about buying and holding properties there or doing wholesales. If you find the right kind of properties, you're not going to generally find a lot of wholesale deals on Zillow. However, you could find them on the MLS, although that's also kind of hard. If you're going to go for a bunch of wholesale deals, I'd probably want you to use some kind of a software program that searches and finds foreclosures, pre-foreclosures, vacant houses, those kind of properties. So we do have software like that. So good morning, everybody. Michael, hey, Wendy and Robert, WL, Isabel, Destiny, Maria. Oh, it's great to see all you guys. Christy, wow, big show, big turnout. So guys, if you're not virtual investing, start thinking about it. If you have questions about this, we actually have a system called Deals at a Distance, which is created just for virtual investing. We created it when the pandemic hit and none of our students could go over to people's houses anymore. So we just created the steps and the scripts for you to be able to go out to develop a farm area in another area. And you get a bunch of consulting calls with that and help along with that. So that's, I think I don't know what we're offering that for, but it's really affordable. So if you wanted to call the office at 888-RICH-NOW anytime, and let's get some virtual deals going, and let us know when you, and you know what, I'm very open to talking to you guys about this. If you're picking an area, let me know. And I created a report that some of you might have that is called 15 Great Cities for Virtual Investing. So if you want that report, just, you know what, you could text, you can always email support@thewolfcouple.com, support@thewolfcouple.com, or you can always, and somebody could put this in the chat, you can always text. And if you want this 15 cities that are great for virtual investing report that I created, go ahead and text for that. Just text 480-789-3649. That's Dashiell. You guys know a lot of you guys have worked with Dashiell and talked to Dashiell and gotten a lot of support from Dashiell. So let them know that you want to get that report and we'll shoot it over to you. But I want you all thinking about virtual investing and expanding your mind, especially if you're living in a northern city, because you're gonna maybe want to own a property that you can go and live in half the year in some nice warm state. So why not develop a farm area in your dream city? All right, so let's say I'm a successful virtual investor. Okay, let's say that. Say, because we're doing what we call future pacing. We're programming our mind to believe it. Now, sometimes you have to, I always talk about this, you got to see it to believe it. Sometimes people say, I have to see it to believe it. No, you have to believe it, and then you're going to see it happen. Visualization, then manifestation. So I am a successful virtual investor. Okay, ready? 1, 2, we do it 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm a successful virtual investor. I'm a successful virtual investor. I'm a successful virtual investor. All right. Good job, guys. So our deep breathing. Nice deep breath in. Always a big smile. Okay, let it out and relax your shoulders and your neck. Nice deep breath in. Sorry about that Weather Channel fiasco in the beginning. Another deep breath. I was hoping I might have some good visual aids there. All right, good job, everybody. All right, so I will see you tomorrow. Let's keep it going. A lot of times people are, kind of pulling back in the holidays and stuff, but just make your normal calls. Try to at least do, 10 seller calls a week, and you might find just the person who's getting ignored by everybody else and get a really great deal here before Christmas. So 16 days to a big payday is what we always say on that timeline. If you don't have that timeline, that's pretty cool too. You could ask Dashiell to send you that timeline as well. All right, until I see you tomorrow, keep expecting success, getting awesome training, and keep taking action.